So hi and welcome back to my channel. So I said I was going to run the Race Matrix pads, the e-bike specific Race Matrix by Uber Bikes for, and kind of give a review on how they lasted. Someone asked me in my last video in the questions how they fared before I had a chance to do the video. So from a point of view of the RSCs, I don't particularly love these brakes, to be honest with you. So that's how far the lever pulls on now, and I'm kind of trapping my fingers in the lever. They were bled, so it's nothing to do with a bleed, whereas the rear one, which obviously the pads aren't as worn, pulls on just to there. So there's definitely, even with the adjustability, there's still movement on the RSCs as your pads wear. You can see right into the lever. So I was just doing a recce, but these from a time frame point of view, how long they've been on, and I've actually managed to get 3 months out of these pads, and the ceramics I got 2 months out of, so I did get an extra month of wear out of them. So I'm going to whip them out and see how worn down they actually are. It might be a case that I'm starting to get a bit of wear on the rotor, so I need to check if they're down to needing replacing actually, because it might not be just the pad. There might be a bit more life left in it. It might be the rotor itself, because these are only cheapo centerline ones, so I don't know what the wear's like with all these different pads I'm using. So I could do a check in that if I can do. So yes, I'm going to whip them off, have a look and see how worn down they are, because by the looks of this, it looks like it's going to be pretty worn. So I've taken the Race Matrix e-bike pads out, and I was actually surprised to find that they've still got, what's that, probably about 3-4 weeks left of life left in them. So still plenty of pad left. So I got about 3 months out of them, and they were brilliant. They were, really powerful when it came to stopping in the dry, in the wet, quite low noise. So these are obviously, the reason why I put another set on is I was going to give them another chance. But they're definitely going to be my go-to pad, because I have got more life in them. So they're definitely a pad I would recommend for an e-bike or semi-bike, based on the power, the stopping, the brake fade. They didn't fade at all. Really fantastic pads. Now, I suppose looking at the issue with the code RSC, so the lever with the contact adjustment all the way out was pulling into the handle. Now, I hate it when brakes pull that far. Other people might not mind it, but I don't feel like I've got very good control. You're pulling your fingers quite a long way to get the brakes to work, and then so occasionally I was trapping my finger underneath. So this all denoted, well, it's all indicative of the pads being worn and needed replacing. Now, I thought, well, could it be air in the system? So I gave it a bleed and no air came out. So it wasn't air in the system causing it to pull to the lever. And I didn't think it was air, because it wasn't spongy. Okay, it's pretty firm feel. So, I don't know, it'd be good if someone puts in the chat what they think the problem with the RSCs are, whether it's just the design of the brake lever. Like I said, the contact point was all the way out and they were pulling in to the grip, and this adjuster, I don't know, it's the reach adjuster, isn't it, was all the way out as well. So I did everything I could do to make sure that the lever wasn't pulling into the grip. So switched the pads, did a clean up, did a proper service. So I put pushed pistons out on a 4mm hex key, put .5 fluid around it to lubricate the seals. I then used isopropyl alcohol to clean the brake and also the rotor to make sure there's no contamination. So as far as the RSC brakes, that's kind of a bit disappointing, feel a bit let down by them. Maybe they're just not the right type of brakes for me. But jumping back to the reason for the review is the Race Matrix pads. Yeah, brilliant. If you're, like I said, if you're running an e-bike, you're running a semi-bike and looking for some really good high power stopping pads that will last you about 3 to 4 months, then yeah, you can't go wrong. So they're $12.99 for one set, so that is enough to do one caliper. And if you buy 4 sets, which was enough to refresh your bike twice if you're doing front and rear, I think it's about 45-ish, something like that. Well, all I know is that you save a couple of quid per pad set if you go for that deal. So yeah. Oh, one last thing is, I find that it doesn't matter when you fit new pads and you've done a bleed. It doesn't matter how much you adjust the pads, what space you put in there, how much you push the pistons back in. You always get a little bit of a rub. Now, is that just me being OCD? Comments in the section, or are people happy with that level of rubbing? Because it just seems that no matter how I fettle them, how careful I am, I never get it so they don't catch at all. So yeah, any feedback or advice on that would be great, with people who are Uber experts, uber experts on brakes. But yeah, so that's it really. That was my quick surmise of the final pad that I've decided to run with. And yeah, it's the Uber Bike Race Matrix e-bike version.